You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Vegas After Show.
After buzzers, go ahead.
Come on the kick jump. After buzzers, come on the kick jump. After buzzers, come. That's all I got.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, after buzzers. Thank us for doing it today. We're doing the 20th episode of the first season of CBS's Vegas, starring Michael Chiklis and Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid and Michael Chiklis. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
Bamm Ericsen.
Bamm.
On the kick jump. Bamm Ericsen. On the kick jump.
And come. On the kick drum. Bamm Ericsen.
And Nick Perdue.
And Nicholas Perdue-ski. So, we got one more episode left.
Season finale.
Season finale coming up next week, but this is the second to last, and it's getting a little...
I feel like this episode really could have been part one of the season finale, which could have been a two-hour...
Two-part series?
Two-part series.
Okay.
Because it was a pre-warm-up to the finale.
A pre-warm-up to the finale. Well, a lot's going on. This guy, Gainsely, has started a lot of ish in the last... a couple of weeks. Like,
yeah.
Out of nowhere, this ranch hand hick, as Savino likes to refer to him, he's a kind of a thorn in the side. I guess he misallocated a lot of that minors money, and
all of it.
Well, yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
So he's, being corrupt with this whole tumbleweed situation. I mean, that was where he was supposed to allocate money, but of course, Savino's going to try to get out of that scenario with dealing with him. And I think they haven't revealed it, but I think he's the one that still had put the kibosh on that whole tumbleweed situation, so he can weed them, Gainsly and his crew, out of that scenario, and then reallocate the venue to him and his people. That's what I think. I don't know. Do they indicate anything in this episode that would have said that, or is it just kind of like maybe they're just putting the kibosh on all of them because it's the mob and these crooked ranchers, and they just want the whole scenario, like the bank and the city want them out of there? I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? But what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that in depth. I mean, I just think that Gainsly, we want to try and X out Savino, and so the best way to do it. And then what I was thinking too was when I saw the explosion. Okay, it's at the tumbleweed that he doesn't have anymore, but if there was an insurance that was in his name under the tumbleweed, if the tumbleweed explodes, then he can collect insurance money. So that's what I was thinking. And then you collect insurance money and you get rid of Savino. That's killing two birds with one stone. They didn't. So like that's what I was thinking, but nothing like that even came up. So.
Now, see, here's the thing. I don't think he was necessarily trying to kill Savino. They might have been trying to go after insurance money because Savino wasn't supposed to be there that night. Mm-hmm. Like the place wasn't opening until the following morning. Yeah. But maybe when it opened the following morning, that's when the bomb was supposed to go off because nobody was supposed to be there at that time anyway. And then the bomb was like
tripped or something.
Right.
It was like detonated.
It detonated, and then after the business opens, it's been open for a little bit, then the bomb would go off. But he went there late night. Yeah.
But in either case,
activated it. Who knows?
But in either case, it was meant for somebody to die or to go off and.
Well, it was definitely supposed to induce terror and damage. Mm-hmm. So maybe there is some kind of insurance thing going on because he's still he still Gainsely still has his name on this thing apparently, doesn't he?
Well, no, because or
is it just on paper?
It's just on paper
between him
and that it switched hands. I guess,
right.
But if he would if he took out the insurance policy on it, then I don't think that they had changed the insurance policy on it yet. So that's just where I was going with the whole insurance thing. But they probably weren't even thinking about that. So that was just my left field.
And has this girl, what's it? Her name is Leah, right? Mia's mom.
Lena.
Mm-hmm. So Lena's there with them. She gets blown up.
Yeah.
And that whole relationship just kind of.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about this relationship because this relationship, it is special.
Oh.
It's special. Yeah, it's special. It's kind of retarded. I'm not really feeling this with him and.
Well, he's first of all, we forget that he's married.
I don't forget that. That's why.
But
that's why I think it's retarded. It doesn't make any sense.
He's married with kids, right? And so he sends his wife back, per the episodes that we know were.
And his wife is hot. His wife is hotter than Lena. Even though Lena's hot. I mean, I like the wife.
But I think especially who Lena is, being Mia's mother. I think that probably adds a little extra now since Johnny's dead. So that just adds that extra. She was kind of like a forbidden fruit, but now,
Maybe he's always wanted to,
Yeah.
He's like,
well, it's not shocking that Savino has a side piece in the first place. It's not shocking, because men in that day, that's what they did. But what's interesting,
men still do that.
well, yeah, you're right. But what's also interesting is that she apparently was going to Reno to go lay up, or Tahoe to go lay up with another dude. And he stopped that and he canceled the reservation and she kind of referenced how she was gonna see somebody else and he was like, no, I stopped that, you're gonna come hang out with me.
Now, do you think that he really likes her? Or do you think he's just...
I think he's having fun.
Yeah. Or do you think he's just doing it on the side because he wants to manage and keep this situation as close to him as possible because it's Mia's mother and this whole thing about Johnny coming back to bite him in the butt later? You think he's just like, I gotta contain this situation? He's just taking advantage of the butt, of the booty along the way, but it's all part of this grand master.
I take that back. I think he kind of does like her. I mean, he did kind of wine and dine her. He brought her to the room, had the wine, everything was candlelight or it was very dark. I think there is some like...
I don't know. I mean, I think it's 50-50. I think he likes her, but he's not, gonna go...
He's not gonna marry her.
Yeah, he's not gonna marry her,
married.
and then,
Well,
but
you know what I mean.
But he wants to keep her close, to, like to keep a handle on that situation. So I think it's 50-50.
You think it's 50-50?
Yeah. But she's not ugly, you know what I mean? So,
what do you think?
She's definitely not ugly.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen when Mia finds out?
Well, when Mia finds out about how Savino...
No, how mommy is getting it in with her boss.
She already knows that.
How does she know that?
She's known that from jump. Like as soon as she came in town, he had hooked up with her. What was it? 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
They hooked up, and then come to find out that after he had hooked up with her because they just were attracted to each other.
Maybe that's over my head. My bad.
Right, and they had hooked up, and then he found out who she was.
Yeah.
After he had already hooked up with her, because he saw her in the casino, and he was like, she's hot. So maybe it's not something conspiratorial because when they did meet when he met her in the casino, he thought they liked her and they just hit it off.
I think it's 50-50 though because now since he knows who she is too, that just adds.
Now that kind of over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because first she could have just been a piece of tail, but now it's kind of like now I'm gonna have to keep on keeping on and keep her around so I can handle, manipulate, and manage this situation. I think it's funny how he finally found the, what do you call it?
The bug?
The bug in the office. Mm-hmm. Put it back,
Well, he slams the
trace it back to
phone down.
Yeah, he traces it back to Jack. And then, the ADA is listening. I guess they're listening to phone conversations. And it's like Mia comes up and she told Jack, it's like, look, you have to know that it's going to come back to, her name is going to come up. Mia's name is going to come up. She's I guess she's like, what, the vice president of...
Yeah, she's basically like second in command, basically.
Yeah, director of operations for the whole joint now. So it's kind of like, I think she eventually wants to weed Vinny out of there. Vincent. She wants to weed him out of there. I think that's part of her whole master plan. And she probably in the back of her mind suspects that Vincent has something to do with her father's death, but she just can't prove it. I don't think she's really trying to prove it. I think that she wants to run the whole kit and caboodle eventually.
I mean, she did tell Jack when he brought her to the ranch how he wants the two of them to run the ranch together. She said, the Savoy this is my home. This is where I want to be, and this is where or what I'm about or something. Basically saying like I'm not leaving the Savoy. This is me. This is my life. And so yeah, she does at some point want to run it, because if she goes to any other places, she'll be like a maid or something. But this is a place where she knows that she can learn and do what she wants to do. She
can thrive.
Yeah.
And there's a real future for her. There is. That's viable beyond being a maid or.
But she'll be the head of housekeeping, though.
Ladies, you guys can write in send your comments.
This was the 1960s, okay? So being the head of house, I'm not saying leave the Savoy. I'm just saying if you were to leave, you were to be a housekeeper, you wouldn't just be like low man on totem pole. You'll be head of housekeeping. And there's nothing wrong with being, top notch. You know what else is nothing wrong with being top notch? Going on iTunes and subscribing to the top notch programming that we have here at AfterBuzz TV, especially like the podcast that we're currently on right now, which is Vegas. And so it takes only a minute to subscribe and create a profile, tell your friends about it. And now you can even stream it on your iPhones and on your iPad. So you can take us in your pocket on a road trip to Vegas as you're watching.
On a kick drum.
Not just iPads and Androids, hello.
And Androids.
Well, they didn't tell me all that. But now, Androids
as well. Android devices. Yes, they're available there. You guys can also follow us on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV and also subscribe to us on YouTube at AfterBuzz TV. If you guys want to weigh in right now and talk about this episode, which is called Unfinished Business, I didn't mention that earlier, you guys can go ahead and make comments, correct us on anything, compliment us or crap on us, however you guys want to do. We prefer the compliments, though. You guys can call in at 424-256-1633, 424-256-1633. Let's talk about Uncle Cal, the degenerate uncle who took off after Dixon's mom's passing. And when I say Maryland. Uncle Cal, he's Maryland. He's Dixon's uncle. Yeah. His Dixon's mother's brother. And it was really funny is they're actually tying this whole Gainsely, the land thing, in with Gainsely. So it looks like the final episode might be them all coming down to finding out Gainsely is at the root of all their problems. So
they shook
He's a corrupt rancher. So he's like a mobster. He's like Savino and Lamb put together. He's like a rancher, but he's like a mob rancher, like a mobster. Like he's really just this corrupt country crap kicking kind of guy. There's nothing sophisticated or savvy about him whatsoever.
Because you see what he's done with this company, this NLC company, and so we find out that Victor Ferris is this old senile man who's living in this retirement home for the past 21 years. Right, and so what they said that the company was defunct or stopped doing business for about 15 years or so, but Gainsey was still getting checks from Victor Ferris regularly. Right. And then, Gainsely would pay all of Victor Ferris's expenses and this and that and yada yada yada.
Well, he was getting checks from the NLC. I guess they weren't directly from Victor Ferris because he tried to act like he didn't know who Victor Ferris was.
Victor Ferris was signing his checks though.
Oh, was he signing the checks?
Yeah.
Okay, because when Katherine questioned him about it, do you know who Victor Ferris is? He was like, no, I'm sorry about that name. She's like, that's interesting since he's the president of the company you're receiving funds from for
the majority of funds coming from. Yeah.
Exactly. So I believe this is the money that he took to acquire the land. They're the ones putting pressure on Marilyn and her brother to get this land and make them sell. And obviously, this is gonna strike a nerve with Ralph and with Dixon. I mean, that's Dixon's mama. He doesn't have to have a reason,
Side note,
to go after somebody who he might have thought. I mean, he even pulled a shotgun out on his uncle in his sleep, thinking that he might have had something to do with it. Go ahead, Bamm.
Victor Ferris, was he the guy from Benson?
Yeah, you can look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's a veteran actor, but he's been in a lot of stuff. But I think he's in Benton. I don't know, but okay. Continuing.
Okay, so if they said that Victor Ferris, he died the same way that Marilyn died, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gas pump was cut and there was a car accident?
Yeah, from the brakes.
Right, the brake line.
No, the mom was.
The mom was, but who else?
No. Katherine was.
Oh, that's right, Katherine.
Was run off the road. And it's like she was trying to, press the brakes,
right.
and the brakes failed.
That's what the coincidence was. It was the same way.
It was the same.
So now it's looking like, okay, everything is also, and it was right after she had her confrontational interview with Gainsely.
Mm-hmm.
So now it really looks like Gainsely is trying to put the kibosh on the ADA. This guy just thinks he's running stuff. So obviously, next episode is really going to be interesting because they're going to have to put this guy in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Well, going back to the uncle,
Uncle Cal?
Yeah, it was interesting because Dixon doesn't know much about his uncle.
Right.
And when he went to the house, he put the gun on him. He knocked him upside his head. He wakes up, he's unconscious, and he wakes up. He's at the diner where his uncle works, and he put the bullets away, put the gun away, and then he fixes him breakfast because he remembers how Dixon likes breakfast. So he makes him his breakfast food just as a way to maybe start or build some kind of relationship. And so Dixon was kind of apprehensive, but of course, you put food on the plate, they start to have conversation. So it does make Dixon, I guess in some ways he was able to get a couple of answers out of his uncle because, he just left him and he wanted to know why he had been gone all this time.
Well, I guess a week after the mom passed, he sold the land.
Yeah.
That I guess they're being pressured to sell and takes off to California.
Yeah.
So, did they explain why he returned? I wasn't clear about that.
Yeah, because the checks stopped coming when the lawyer died.
Oh.
Because he was getting checks and it was getting paid out. And then they stopped coming.
And he called and said it was because there was money. They didn't have any more money.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Okay, so they did mention that. Well, what eventually do you think that he's going to be around or?
I mean, the season's over, so no. I mean, that's just the season's over. Because he was introduced in the second to last episode.
Right.
He had like 5 minutes on screen. He's
Uncle Cal.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing of how they were going at it, him and Ralph, at the diner. I think he's definitely going to be reintroduced as.
Yeah, he'll probably be he'll have some. I don't think he'll have a serious arc, but he'll do some pop-ins, every now and again. But I don't think he's going to be a substantial character. He's a forgettable character.
Okay.
Agree.
You agree with that, Bamm?
Yes.
Well, that's what it is then. Bamm agrees. So
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam. On the kick drum.
On the kick drum.
Agrees. Bam, bam. So Jack, Mia, and this new love triangle with Stone that seems like is brewing up. Stone Cold.
I mean, because I think they needed to give him something because he was just kind of there doing his thing, but he wasn't really that important. You really didn't think about him, he was on screen, he did his thing, okay, whatever, everything was gone.
Right.
But now, with the way that things are starting to play out, because when Savino finds the tap on the phone, traces it back to Jack, and says, Jack is trying to put us all in jail now. And so you saw the look on Mia's face, and she was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but Mia, that's the thing about Mia. For a girl that's so smart and so savvy, she should be smarter than she was like, no, he's trying to put you in jail. He ain't trying to put me in jail.
But
it's obvious.
But what may happen with the way that the law is, because she's, guilty by association. You know what I mean?
But that's going to happen whether or not Jack is involved as a sheriff or not, because Jack is obviously not the highest guy up on the totem pole.
True.
And he's not running. He's not the ADA. He doesn't even run the sheriff's department. He's not even the main sheriff. His brother is. He doesn't control that.
But this is how you introduce a love triangle.
I guess so. Now, one thing that made sense for me was the fact that he went out and took her out and showed her all this land and was like, look, you do the numbers, I'll do the ranching. We have a good, strong business out here doing our thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And to me, I just don't see Mia on a ranch. That's just me personally.
I think he jumped the gun on that one. I think that was too soon because, haven't discussed marriage or any kind of thing. So it's like to say that we're gonna be together and we're gonna run this business. In those days, aren't you supposed to put a ring on it first?
Well, personally, what I think he should have done is put a ring on it first. He should have not brought this up to us like, look, we'll put our pennies together, we'll get this, blah, 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 blah. Because that presentation is kind of like something that is so solid. It's like, that's like a life, that's like a life decision.
Yeah.
That he should have kept her mind on us being together and us being happy together. Whereas after they got married, he's like, look, I want to get this land out here. You know, do you want to invest? I got this much. I'll need this much more if you want to invest, or you have any high rollers I want to invest. Come over here and bring them to the table or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then she'd probably be like, well, I've got the money. Let's go ahead and blah, 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 blah.
Or he could have just asked her in some kind of conversation.
And she would have done the numbers for him just because that's her husband.
He could have asked her what is her goals or plans outside of, what's next after this. But I do think that Mia's response was a good response. She said, had it been a couple months, my response would have been hell no, but now I'll say maybe. And he was content with the maybe because obviously he knows her well enough to know that she's not going to completely just jump onto this idea so quickly. So, I think it worked out in a sense of her saying maybe was what he was looking for.
Now, to Jack's defense, Jack probably feels like, okay, look, I'm dealing with the city slicker type of girl. She deals with guys that have the big time ballers, the big high rollers, guys that are sophisticated and just live a whole different life. And maybe he wants to show her, look, I have aspirations of doing something bigger than just being this podunk sheriff deputy for the rest of my days.
Yeah.
Ranching and farming is actually big business. There are a lot of multimillionaires that have ranches and farms.
500 acres.
It's a lot of money. So I have an uncle that had a pig farm, and he still has the pig farm actually. And he had, over the years, he's had hundreds of pigs. They sell them. They get slaughtered. They make bacon.
All that poke.
Exactly. So it's farming is a big business because people got to eat.
Uncle's not Muslim, is it?
No, definitely not. That's really funny. I don't think he'd be in that business if he was Muslim.
He might, because he wouldn't even eat it.
But no, he wouldn't serve it. See, he would be polluting the environment and people's health. That wouldn't work. But that's, farming obviously is a big business because people got to eat, and that you're starting
but
as wholesale as you can get.
But she's not looking at the big picture of the money, because I think money is not her long-term goal. Her goal is to be into a business that is not traditional for women. She wants to break those barriers of being a maid or a cook or a nurse.
but also being an entrepreneur. She's obviously not going to be on the ranch, out there ranching. That Jack is going to do that. Just like he presented it to her, you would handle the numbers, and I would do the ranching. So they'll be partners. And it was a great presentation. It might have been a little premature based on
where they're at
right now. And I think this is the window, this non-security, this floating around where she's at in her future with Jack, because of just coming off of the whole dad thing. It's like they've had all these issues that really have just these circumstances that have inflicted their relationship, which is probably they're kind of victims of circumstance. At the same time, they've been experiencing it. So maybe it's kind of like, I really like this guy, I have an affinity for him, I think he's great, her mom even likes him, but she might be looking at, what's the viability of our future together? Like, can this really work? Because as she becomes more powerful and gets a little older, she's going to become more entrenched into the mob. It's like there's no way around it. She's Johnny Rizzo's daughter. She actually works at a mob-owned casino, an establishment. She's in business with them.
She doesn't just work, like she's
she's part of the family.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about, speaking of the mom? So the mom, there's an introduction, and she's like, oh, I've heard so many things about you. Ask when his birthday is. She places 13.
Sagittarius.
December 13. And then so she wins, gives him the $500 chip. He takes the $500 chip and goes and buy her an engagement ring. So what do you think about? Do you think we're gonna see more of the mom trying to meddle? Because obviously she's Team Jack.
Yeah, because she wants her daughter to have a solid life. I mean, look at the life she lives. Basically, Mia just has a more structured version of Mia's life. Mia has a more structured version of Lena's life.
Yeah.
Because Lena is out there, she's hosting high rollers and
She's
blah, blah, blah.
fast tailing.
Right. So basically, fast tailing.
But she's an independent contractor, though. So,
Right,
so.
exactly. She's doing her own thing. She's kind of like the Sharon Stone character from Casino.
Yeah.
So Mia is like the new generation Lena. Like, she has the actual graduate degree from Wharton Business School, which is one of the best business schools in the country. She knows numbers. Her dad raised her, blah, 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 to know the mob side of it as well, the skim. She's sophisticated. She's just...
And she has an office and a desk.
Right. She's a wise girl, you know. So she's she has a lot to bring to the table as far as what the organization needs, and she's not going to just be able to walk away from that.
Well, no, I mean, I think she's comfortable at where she's at, but not necessarily she's comfortable. You know, that she's like, this is where I need to be. You know, like, and that's kind of like what her realization is. And so, you know, like saying, she, you know, may have aspirations to take over the Savoy. You know, and possibly, you know, if Vincent, you know, reclaims back the, or he has the tumbleweed now, but, you know, the Savoy and the tumbleweed. So, you know, like she could be the biggest female in Vegas, you know, period.
She's the biggest female in Vegas now, I believe.
She is.
I don't think there's anybody who's really running hands-on any casinos in Vegas besides her right now at this time. I think the fact that those lingering doubts she has about her and Jack's relationship is what allows Tommy Stone to come in and
kiss her,
get some lip action. Cause he's a young, good-looking guy. He's
quick.
He's quick.
He's from Hollywood.
He's from Hollywood / LA. You know, he's doing his thing. He's sophisticated in his own. Yeah, he's sophisticated in his own right. He actually brought something to them where they actually have to go after him and recruit him to come work for them because he was so good at what he did. And entertainment is obviously one of the staples of Vegas. Gambling and entertainment. So he had that on lock.
Do you think that Mia likes him, or do you think that?
Yes.
I think the more brash he gets, the more she's gonna like him. Just simply because she's used to that, and even if she knows it's not, you know, because she's been around a certain lifestyle her whole life. I mean, look at who her dad was, for crying out loud. This dude, there was nothing. I don't want to say smooth. There was nothing soft about this guy. He was very aggressive and took what he wanted. And I think part of me is attracted to that because I think that to her is kind of like the definition of what a man is kind of. A man kind of isn't really it's not really soft, like sensitive, not sensitive. I don't want to say
Jack
sensitive.
isn't really soft though. You know, because like
I don't want to say he's soft because he's not soft.
He's a man. He's just a different because like he's more.
He's just more square.
Detail oriented. I would say than, you know, being very, you know, quick because like he's slower paced. Right? You know, because you got Stone who's quick and he's fast talker, this and that, you know, and there's a lot of bada bing, bada boom, you know, versus the, you know, let's take it easy, you know, it's kind of
on the kick drum, bada bing, bada boom, on the kick drum.
So you know, but then there was also this little you know, interaction that they had where you know, Stone said, you know, like, I would hate to be your boyfriend, or it's like, or I feel sorry for your boyfriend or something like that.
Right.
And then she said,
I thought she would have been like, you want to keep your job? I thought she would have said like, who are you talking to? But something about it kind of,
she kind of likes,
like he was flirting and she was flirting back.
Yeah, like she said when he made a comment, he was like, you're bossy, and she says, no, I'm your boss.
I like that.
Yeah, she kind of likes it a little bit.
Yeah, she checked him a little bit, and he wasn't being bossy. It was just, it's like, no, I'm your boss. I think it was kind of, there was a chauvinistic undertone to when he was like, you're bossy, because if he was Vincent that did the same thing, he wouldn't have said, you're bossy. He would have been like, that's my boss, I better do what he says. And the same thing happened with her. She wasn't being bossy.
He kind of he doesn't really he partially can't. He doesn't respect her work because she's a hot chick. Is how I feel.
I just think he thinks she's a hot chick. He's used to telling all the hot chicks what to do and how to do it and blah blah blah, this and this and that. So you know, because he deals with showgirls all the time.
Yeah.
And he didn't even mention to her one episode. Like, have you thought about being a showgirl? He did mention that to her one time.
Yeah,
he
sure did.
So he looks at her like, I mean, she is hot. It's not like she's not hot. She's hot, but she's intelligent, and that's the more attractive. You know, you got an intelligent, articulate woman who's running things, and she looks good. Like, come on, dude. He's definitely looking at her like, yeah, I gotta, you know. And then she's looking at Jack. He's looking at Jack like, from his standpoint, like, really, this is your dude.
But what's interesting, since the Vegas has returned.
But Jack is the kind of man that she needs, though.
Right.
Not a Tommy Stone.
But there's a lot of relationships that literally have brewed since the April 5 return. So you got Jack, and Mia, you got Dixon and Yvonne. There's still something going on between Ralph and Katherine, and now you have Savino and Mrs. Rizzo. So there's all these kind of relationships going on amongst the who did it and whatever else is going on within the stories. There's always now some kind of relationship undertone.
But then there's also Agent Byrne too, who's still trying to get
Let's talk about Agent Byrne recovering
Katherine
from getting shot. You know, this guy.
Hold on, but before you go on, you know what I think is funny is how he got shot. Like, the lady was just frustrated. Pop, one to the chest, took her kid, and just hightailed it out of there. So, like, she, like, honestly, I'm not mad at her because of how much of a jackass he was. So it's kind of like, okay, you get what you pay. You know what I mean? It's like that was coming to you. I'm glad he didn't die, but it was kind of like a nice kind of check for him to be like, yo, dude.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say to that. You deserved it, Byrne.
Exactly.
You deserved it.
I disagree.
You were being an ass. And
he was doing his job.
Okay. You can be an ass while doing your job. He was being an ass while he was doing his job.
So because he's being an ass, he should be shot.
I believe there are certain situations that you don't have to follow everything by degree to the book. Like her particular situation, she was a widow. She has this kid, and so she needs this money.
No, but it wasn't even about that. He could have still done his job without screwing her over.
Yeah, because he literally just stopped her.
That had nothing to do with doing his job. That was not. It's not about playing the heartstrings. It's just the fact of the matter is that he was being an ass. He didn't have to do what he did. That still would not constitute him not doing his job. He was doing the most. It was like, dude, really? That's unnecessary. He was doing unnecessary stuff.
Because now someone's not eating, and their kid's not going to eat,
right?
Because it's this investigation.
And so she shoots him, she runs away, and she still can't eat. What are you going to do?
She's eating. She's eating, yeah. Like, for all we know,
he got shot, didn't he? Why did he get shot? Because he was being an ass. Yeah. If he was acting like he should have been acting,
he wouldn't have got shot.
He wouldn't have got shot. That's why his ass was laying up in a hospital bed. That's all I'm gonna say. Burn.
So what?
He got burned.
He got burned.
Yeah, well,
what a burner.
And he's been offered to go to DC now.
Yeah, and they taking him off the case because obviously he's probably getting closer to some things. I think Gainsely probably has somebody paid off, and they, or at least they alluded to that.
It's coincidence,
right? Yeah. I mean, even Katherine knows. It's like, dude, a mother's first instinct is gonna be protect her.
Katherine had some balls how she stepped up to Gainsely and she's got in his face and she's like, "Are you threatening me?" Like, Katherine's no joke.
Okay, dude, this is the same chick that put a gun out on Savino in the car. Her stepping up to him in the sheriff's office, that's not a big deal. She's gonna get in his face and be like, "Oh, really? You're threatening me?" She'll pull a gun out and pop somebody.
I'm just reaffirming that.
And didn't she shoot it? What's his name? Jones. Remember Jones?
She did.
She shot. Yeah. She's from a ranch. Just because she looks all nice, don't let the smooth face fool you.
She has all that Matrix training, so you know what I mean. Like
Katherine will pop a cap in your ass. Yeah. She will do it. She does not play. She's the ADA. She wants to be taken seriously. And I don't think she's doing it as a matter of compensation for the fact she's a woman. I just think she doesn't take no crap.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just how she is. And Ralph is the same way, which is what's going to make it harder for them two to hook up. And not the fact that they're kicking crap to each other, but I think they just keep letting their jobs get in the way, and they've known each other for a really, really long time.
Yeah. So there's a lot of back history there.
There's a lot of back history. Plus the fact, she probably knew Marilyn, which was his wife. They haven't really gone into that, but she probably did. And it's probably weird. It's a weird, awkward situation. Plus, they would still have to work together, which could compromise their careers.
Right. When you're young like Dixon and Yvonne, it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. I mean, they start young and everybody gets used to it, and everybody, that's not a big deal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Ralph and Katherine are seasoned vets.
And they're higher up on the totem pole.
Right.
Yeah.
So that can cause a conflict of interest when it comes to work situations. So it's best that they, I mean, it was really funny how this guy offers to bring her, like, you'd be really great working for the DOJ. You should come with me. And she's,
She said no?
She said no.
She says, thanks for the box on Gainsely.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue this investigation since you're not doing it anymore. Appreciate your help, bro.
So.
Yeah.
I think she was really flattered, though, and I think she was attracted to Byrne, though. I think if Byrne would have stayed in town,
I think he
definitely would have hooked up with him.
I think she was.
Because he was making moves, but he was doing it like...
I think she was earlier into the season, but she got over him. He wasn't moving fast enough. But then, although Lamb is not moving fast enough... Yeah, that's very true.
And that's when they started...
And he got shot.
There was a little something. Then he got shot.
Mm-hmm. Things happen when you take a bullet.
Yeah, well... And maybe if he would have got shot a couple more times, maybe she would have had more compassion and she'd have went to D.C. with him. Cause
if he would have got shot a couple more times, he would have been dead. She would have been having compassion at his funeral. That's what that would have been about. But so next week it's going to be very interesting. I guess the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. Culmination.
The culmination.
Long season.
Long.
Do you have
I didn't. I was trying to find it.
Ratings? No.
You didn't find anything? Let's go to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so I've been doing a little bit of research, and I've been trying to find out some information on what's going to happen for season 2. Are we going to have a season 2? CBS, let us know. We would like to know. Inquiring minds want to know. All the AfterBuzzers want to know. Are we going to have a season 2? You moved the episodes from Tuesday nights to Friday nights. Mm-hmm. Which we've discussed with Amy Garcia and Steve Rizzo, to see, we'll get their thoughts on it, and no one really seems to have any bearing on what we will all would like to see this show come back.
I really don't. I think CBS. I don't think they know, and I think CBS is really thinking,
they're unsure themselves.
They're unsure. Should we not? Because you have 2 huge Hollywood actors, movie stars. You have Dennis Quaid and you have Michael Chiklis, and the question is it something that they want to invest their time in doing, because do they have other commitments with film and TV?
Right.
You got Katherine, the Matrix chick, what's her name again?
Carrie-Anne Moss.
You got Carrie-Anne Moss. I mean, you have some very veteran actors who are also movie stars as well. So it's like, I think it also depends on if the cast, if it's something that they want to do.
I mean, look, being on a successful TV show consistently is great work, especially nowadays the way the industry is, and you've got so much competition, and there's so many different forms of entertainment. You're dealing with internet, shows like AfterBuzz, people watch, and there you have like Netflix, and then you have people playing video games or whatever. These things, ratings are not what they used to be. It's just like album sales, it's just not the same. So for an actor to have a solid weekly gig it's a great thing. At the same time, the 2 main actors don't have that problem. Chiklis and Dennis Quaid, like you were saying, they may get attached. They get movies and
Dennis Quaid was just in 3 movies last year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, he's always gonna work. I mean, and him and Chiklis, these guys are always gonna work, and Carrie-Anne Moss as well. They're always, for the rest of the cast, this is great for them because they're working on a regular basis. Like, it's great. It's a great deal, especially in a business that's unpredictable.
Well, I'll say, as I said last week, I think that Vegas should be They should start in the winter time and run all 21 episodes on a Friday.
Start in the fall or the winter?
No, the winter.
You mean like so around January, February?
Yes, around January. Kind of like how ABC does with Body Approved. There's some shows you just run them through because sometimes it's kind of more difficult in the fall because there's a lot more shows that are out.
Right.
And you have to like kind of like weed out. If you started in the winter, run it from like, you know, January to now to May. Just run all 21 episodes.
Run 21 episodes for 21 episodes? Do a full 21 set?
Do a full 21, 22. Run it. Do a full season. Do it on a Friday night. Follow it after Blue Bloods, which is a very successful show. I think Blue Bloods is like in their second or third season right now.
Something like
so
that.
follow behind Blue Bloods, and just have that consistent Friday night
time slot.
I think it should work on a Wednesday. Of course, I don't know what other shows are on that time.
But there's, you know, you have reality shows, you have so many shows that you have to deal with, and a lot of times Friday is kind of like the back. It's kind of like the show. It's kind of a night.
Stepchild.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's all I can say. Let's go on to predictions for the season finale.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, season 1 of CBS's Vegas. Season finale. Hopefully not the series finale. Nicholas Perdue, prediction. Go.
Well, here's the thing. I think if it is the series finale, that the way that they're wrapping it up, that they are putting like a bow on it, essentially. So, like, if this is the last season, then, you know, like, everything will end.
All right.
But, you know, with that said, you know, we see now that Jack and Ralph and Savino have to team up, you know, to go after this guy Gainsely. So, you know, that's going to be nice. I think Mia's definitely gonna have to choose between this City Slicker Stone, you know, and you know, I would say between Mr. Right and Mr. Right Now. Let me put it that way. And then
I like that.
Me too.
I don't know. I think, you know, Yvonne and what's the name? Dixon.
We'll have a baby.
Not that they have a baby, but they'll, you know, they'll have a good, like, something's gonna happen to where you be like, oh, that's nice.
Right. Okay. All right, that's a good prediction. Prediction season finale. Hopefully not series finale. Bamm Ericsen, go.
I think that they're gonna tie all ends in case it doesn't come back. So we'll see something between all of them. I think there may be a kiss or something that kind of seals that there's a future for Ralph and Katherine.
Okay.
There may be something, another kiss or some kind of intimate moment to push their relationship. I think Mia will obviously choose Jack, and then Savino and Lamb are going to work together, which we've only saw that happen in one episode, but that is obviously going to happen because they both need each other. And so I think it's a great way to go out either for a season finale or a series finale. And then, of course, if it gets picked up for season 2, then they'll go back to hating each other. And like Ralph said, you know, when ranchers are at when they need each other, they basically put their guns up and they shoot, and they kind of put things aside and they kind of handle business, and then after that they just kind of go back. And so I think that was a great way for him to explain that to Savino, saying we don't like each other, but we're going to come together, we're going to kick some ass, and then after that we're going to go back our separate ways.
Okay. Well, for me, I believe that you guys made a great prediction for next week, that just in case it doesn't come back, they will have answered a lot of questions just in case. Other than that, you know, we shall see what happens. You know, I don't want to make any solid predictions. It was kind of obvious what goes down. It's all the crap's gonna hit the fan. Everybody's gonna team up to have to wipe Gainsely and this whole corrupt rancher organization off the face of the earth, at least out of Vegas and Nevada. So until next week, where can we find you guys?
Find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
Bamm Ericsen. Social media, Twitter and Instagram.
Instagram and Twitter, Club Thaddeus and GQJedi.com. Until next time, After Buzzers.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.